Okay, welcome. Hello, everybody. Lovely to see you, Holger and George. Hello, Nathan. Hi, Judy. Holly. Hello, Julia. Grace. And Mark. Very lovely to be with you and to be. What a wonderful thing to see each other and to be together. And this is just amazing, just wonderful. There are no words for it, really. Just so beautiful. So we're grateful for this recognition, the recognition of the love, recognition of what we truly are, our heart of hearts. The one ocean, the ocean of being, the freedom, the joy, the creativity. As that causeless peace, causeless love, we don't need to figure anything out. It's all figured out. It's sufficient. It's bountiful. Nothing lacking. We welcome everything to the peace, our true self. The doors are open. There are no doors. It's rather than expecting anything, we rest as being. That is the reality of our experience. It's our true self, our true being. This is effortless, borderless presence, impersonal, universal. Everything is included. All is one in that understanding. Every sensation, every faint vibration within the body-mind, every perception. It's an expression of our transparent being. No issues. This is where the true meeting and healing takes place. The waves being the ocean, the recognition of the ocean. So beautiful, the song of birds. The hum of an airplane. No need for an image. Just a pure hum. The entire space humming. Singing. Embraced in impersonal love. Not seeking anything, not reaching out for anything, nor resisting anything. a fresh moment. Magical. The sound. Always fresh. Without a past or future. Complete freedom, complete creativity. We do not exist in time. Every moment, a sensation, fresh, new sensation in the belly, in the chest, wherever. Without any separate person being anywhere. Just the current of love. Not a feeling, not a mind state, but much deeper than that. The screen of awareness. One screen, one reality. Yes, infinite minds, yes. Infinite waves, infinite clouds and shapes and forms. But one reality, one ocean, one sky, one borderless awareness. Non-local. Everything appears within and as this borderless moment. But awareness does not appear here or there. The distant sound of a lawnmower. What is distance? Where is the sound? What is the sound in the absence of mentation and conceptualization? There are no words, no words. that can speak the reality. It speaks itself as every manifestation, every appearance, every meditation. And it speaks itself as itself, I am. Or it's simply I. What is enlightenment? In this moment of being, do we really need to engage the mind in such questions? Aren't all our questions answered in the peace, the causeless peace, the causeless joy, and the causeless freedom? That's the true answer to all questions. But we usually understand enlightenment as some fantastic thing that somehow I need to have that, to experience that. What is it? Well, in our dream, our night dream, we've been dreaming for eons upon eons, dreaming that we are a character, an object, a person in the dream, subject to various conditions, various situations, seeking comfort and safety and happiness in various ways, in various experiences, situations, relationships, accumulation of wealth, seeking popularity or love for material comfort and safety. Then there can be a flash of insight, sort of an inner lightning, where we somehow get a glimpse beyond this dream, a glimpse that the entire me structure is a field of meditations and sensations, images, storyline about me, my family, my future, my past, my partner, my rabbis, my gurus, my politicians, my world. Somehow we catch a glimpse that this very rigid, very concrete I, very concrete me, is just a sort of a mirage. And that reality is a glorious, infinite field, which has nothing to do with our mental storyline, our field of feelings and sensations. And in this flash, in this insight, there is a recognition, an understanding. A revelation about truth, about reality, about our true self, our true nature, about universal consciousness. It's an irreversible event. It's like the chef has taken the egg and starting to crack it, strikes it against the edge of the pan. The shell is cracked, but the chef hasn't yet opened the shell and allowed the egg to come out of the shell. It hasn't cooked the omelette yet. But that shell is not mendable. It's an irreversible process. It's in a way, the true beginning of our journey onto the path. Not to be mistaken with our final recognition, or not to be mistaken to be the end game. In this moment of insight, there is no personal self. In fact, it's a direct apperception of the illusory aspect of the personal self. It's like you just put your hand through the mirror through the reflection. There is no personal enlightenment. This insight is what I refer to as enlightenment. It's a glimpse. And in this glimpse, there is no one. There is just direct apperception, a revelation beyond the mind. In most cases, the mind returns to claim ownership of something that it was not privy to. Constructs a concept called enlightenment and formulates an honor to this enlightenment. I have become enlightened. Just an attempt of the separate entity to maintain itself. There comes the conundrum. Yes, insight into our true nature is absolute, undeniable, but there is no one to claim it. The mind likes to engage in thinking, feeding the me, crowding the stage, filling the space with thoughts and stories and me. We rub we don't need to trip over our own thoughts and images. They're just appearances on the screen of awareness. So the dance of awareness is the dance of Shiva. The Shakti aspect of being. You are not somebody who's doing something or not doing something. It's just a stream of thoughts. I is universal stillness and universal movement. Nothing personal about it. And that understanding is the understanding about your reality and about the reality of your experience, the reality of the world, the body, the mind. That understanding is yours. Dive deeply into it. Open the gates. They are illusory gates, after all. Yes. There are no gates. There is no one to open the non-existent gates. Fascinating, isn't it? Okay, so if you have any questions, anything that you would like to discuss, please make sure to raise your hand. We can unmute you. And hi, George. Let me see if I can ask you to unmute. Okay, I think you should be unmuted.
Yes, I am.
Yes.
Hi there, Magdi. That was really a great meditation. Thank you. You mentioned that there is nothing lacking. And I stopped and looked, and there's nothing lacking. I mean, that is the reality of my experience. You know, my mind says, you know, this room is too warm. I wish it were cooler. There was this war going on in Ukraine. I wish it wouldn't be there. But the fact is, there's nothing lacking. Thank you.
Yes. And this goes hand in hand with there is no separate one. There are streams of thoughts, perceptions, sensations, but there is no separate entity outside of the reality of awareness, presence. And it goes hand in hand with this aware presence, which is my direct experience this moment, is nothing else but I. So this I that is aware, meaning knows it is, and is aware of perceptions instantaneously. There are these words, and the speaking of these words and the hearing of these words in an instantaneous zero time. It's as if this nothingness, this awareness, this presence, the potential, it appears, it generates and creates, perceives, and dissolves in a moment by moment. This sound, this vibration, this sensation, this thought, And it's like the bubbling of creativity out of what? Out of the infinite source of creation, out of whatever it is that is real in this moment, which we know as, well, in language we say awareness, consciousness, beingness, presence, whatever we use words. But experientially, I is before we superimpose images and ideas and memories and stories and gender and whatever we superimpose is before the superimposition is I. It's non-conceptual. Non-conceptual. This reality is non-conceptual, but it knows itself. I know I am. It's wondrous. It's mind-blowing. The mind says, "Oh no! Wait a minute! You can't blow me away. I got a narrative. I can put together a narrative. Just give me a few minutes. I'll put together a narrative." And it goes and creates encyclopedia upon encyclopedia upon encyclopedia of sounds and thoughts and jungle of relationships and analysis and comparison, and creates a concept out of another concept, out of another concept, out of another concept. And now we're getting it. We're getting where we getting. we're just dancing. We're playing. Well, this whole play maybe distracting is in fact appearing in this moment of awareness. Is always you cannot erase awareness. There is no eraser for awareness. There isn't. You can't erase reality. What would? So from that understanding, as that understanding sort of reveals itself, yes, there's no lack. What are you kidding me? What lack? Only A, you have to create A first, and then A will lack B, and we'll get B, but we'll be lacking C. But now you're in the game. You're in the game. Darn, I've been dealt this card. What's our rule of the game? Oh, I'm missing a queen of heart. You see, you got into there is a download of the game, some game, whatever, it varies. We're missing the queen of hearts. So we're chasing the Queen of Hearts. Because if you get the Queen of Hearts, you win. What do you win? Well, it depends on the rule of the game. You win some chips. The chips. You win the chips. And what's the meaning of the chips? Well, the chips, they refer to beautiful house. And what's a beautiful house? But the beautiful house refers to more comfort, status, my wife or husband is happy, blah, blah, blah. Right? You see what I mean?
I still have the feeling of being a separate self. And I've been waiting and hoping for that feeling to disappear. But now I'm beginning to see I don't need that feeling to disappear. It's like, okay, I feel I'm a separate self, and I'm not.
Right. Feeling as a separate self is a sensation appearing right now in this moment in the space.
Exactly, yes.
And okay, I've got no issues with sensations arising in the space. But if I do have an issue, now I'm engaged with an internal war. I'm engaged in an internal war with what? With my thoughts.
Right. I have this feeling, and then I have this thought. I shouldn't have this feeling.
Right.
Well, good luck. Right. There's an internal war.
Good, right. Good luck. Right. It's on board, and then there's some feeling or sensation or some thought on board, and now we're going to fabricate. We're going to generate, something that is going to. Now we're going to sort of, strike at it this way. We're going to generate something, a striker that's going to strike at it this way, and shit, it's moving. So we need to sort of generate also a striker that can move and focus and zero in.
I'll have to take a missile to shoot this ship, supply ship in the harbor.
Yes, and you create the ship, you create the missile, you create the harbor, you create the enemy. It's all an inside job.
Right. And
it's an inside job that's arising out of where? It can only be arising out of your being. It's not like, nobody plugging into your brain any wires or, and they're, feeding into your brain. It's arising out of your being. One could say out of your freedom, but if you enjoy the show, go for it. But if you don't enjoy the show, well, okay, well, just you see it. Okay, you're not going to feed it. You're not going to be stamping your foot down. What is that? Queen of Hearts. You're going to say, okay, well, there's some game going on here. And it's telling me, hey, you got to seek that Queen of Hearts. But no, I don't. I don't have to seek the Queen of Hearts.
That Queen of Hearts is important. Yes.
For whom?
Exactly.
And for what?
For what? For whom? Yes, exactly.
I mean, isn't there like a joy in being? Like being freshly, being not knowing, no narrative, just the freshness of being. The not being somebody, not being this or that. Just not knowing, the freshness of being. It's the reality of our experience is the freshness. And the thoughts that arise, they're like bubbling in this fresh, formless space. Like in the sky, birds fly in different directions. This one here, this one here. Sometimes it's a pigeon, sometimes it's a dove, whatever. You're never experiencing something twice. So yeah, like, okay, I get it. This whole me in time and space, just a story, because there isn't such a thing. There isn't such a thing, and yeah, you said there is a sensation of me, a feeling of me. It's a sensation. It's in its purest sense. Before you say it's a feeling, it's something perceived. It's something perceived, whether it's a thought or a sensation in your chest, in your belly. So we're not in the business of fixing the body or the mind. We're not in the business of fixing our sensations or our feels of course, if there is a toothache, you go to the doctor, that's understandable. But I'm talking about the psychological one. So somebody tells me, Magdi, you're the stupidest person in the world. I say, interesting. That's very interesting. Wow, that's cool. I'm on board with that. somebody tells me, oh, you're the greatest in the world. I say, oh, that's interesting. I'm not born like you too. You're the greatest too. You're the greatest. Tomorrow you're going to lose everything. Oh, cool. Well, let's see. Let's see what's, well, you're losing everything now. Okay, well, what can we do now? Okay, let me see what we can do. It's always the freshness of the moment. Because we don't live in time. I mean, we imagine that we exist in time, but that's not true. It's not true. So we must stick with what's true, right? I mean, we don't need to be somebody. We don't need to be somebody. People love you when you're not somebody. Because you know what? It gives them a break from them having to be somebody, right? Like, oh, I'm somebody, you're somebody, It's like you say, okay, I give up this game. The other person can relax. Oh, wow, gee, I don't have to try hard with this person, I don't have to convince them of my dance. So, but first I have to give it up. I have to give it up first. Because you can only give up that which can be given up. You cannot give up that which is real, true, absolute, eternal. And I'm okay with that. I'm on board. No identification. We don't need to carry the carcass around. The phantom me. No need to define ourselves in any way. So then life is a play, an adventure, a celebration, a contemplation. Playful, playful, just like the flow of a stream. There isn't anything in particular, it's just the flow. Isn't any particular reality that's flowing, it's just the whole thing is the flow.
Magdi,
Yes, hello, Nathan.
hi. I listened to one of Francis' short talks about emptiness, and it was really beautiful, and he explained it so wonderfully. But when I stopped listening and just went, in the meadow back to work, it's kind of in me, it's sort of connected this emptiness with openness and with not knowing. And despite this kind of almost ethereal aspect of the emptiness, the openness and not knowing, there was so much aliveness in there, so much presence. And it was as if I was no one, nobody, and yet there was this presence that in a very still way that just expresses itself. So the emptiness was actually fullness as well, fullness of this presence. And I felt it just this reality, this just overall reality, that I was walking into this reality back to work, of this not knowing. There was something absolutely magical in this not knowing, yet alive, really present, but no one, no identity, no, just walking and feeling the wonderful air of spring coming, the rays of the sunshine, the tweeting of the bird. It was not thought, it was just a rejoicing of the walking in this reality back to work. And I felt so much gratitude because it went beyond words, beyond the single emptiness. Is it empty? Like Francis says, oh, think of a bottle empty of vodka, something. It's not that. It's so full of this reality. So it was a wonderful thing how by itself, you live by itself. And there was no orchestrator of anything. There's no someone who's spinning anything or trying to explain with thoughts and this, or imagine what awareness is. It's just feeling of freedom, of expression. As you say, this freshness, which is so innocent, so immediate. And this totality of everything is so beautiful and aliveness. As the whole thing of emptiness kind of was revisited internally somehow into a completely different way of being. I just wanted to share this moment, and so many things speak to me so directly now, and I'm so grateful for all of you that we're all one. There's no separation at all, but there is feeding of this communion, oneness, one reality, as you say. And it's celebrating itself, and it's bringing us into a right place, the true place of being. So I wanted to say thank you very much. And also about the not lacking that you answered just before. It's like so much, there's nothing lacking at the moment when we speak, there's nothing lacking. Everything is in the right place, everything is okay. there's no need to do anything or not do anything, like you say. It's just perfect as it is, and it's just so happy, just peaceful. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Nathan. Yes. Yeah. All the streams and rivers, they flow to the ocean. All have one destination, one destiny. As a metaphor, of course. As you walk in the direction of God's light, you dissolve in the light. One could say nothing remains, but this nothing is everything. It's not an empty nothing, it's full of light, God's light. As a metaphor, of course. There is nothing that can get in the way of God's light shining. Nothing. It shines equally everywhere, effortlessly. So no one doing anything. Such a wonder. Wonder from wonderful, WONDER, such a wonder. And this understanding, it keeps tenderizing, relaxing, and deepening, and yes, God's love. God is love. Truth is love. I is love. Nothing can stand in the way of love. So my life becomes an expression of that, becomes a reflection of that. Celebration of that. And our oneness becomes palpable. Our wholeness, our totality, our infinity, our eternity, our transparency, our true reality as this borderless beingness becomes palpable, alive. That's the full emptiness, the full emptiness, the fullness, emptiness. The absence as presence and presence as absence. So alive. The marriage of the yin and yang, yin and yang. Everything falling in place. There is also a true humility, not a false humility, but a true humility at the heart of this understanding. And a universal gratitude, which is an aspect of love, true humility. This gratitude. And this understanding is contagious. You know how when you're exposed to somebody with the virus of love, you don't know when you caught the virus, but later you find yourself drunk with love. This is our true meeting. Our true meeting is via what appears to be formless. Actually, it's a formless meeting. We meet at the heart level. That's our true meeting. Between perceptions, between thoughts, between meditations. That's where we truly meet. It's where we truly are. And also we meet like this, with these perceptions and sound waves and sensations, all imbued with love. No interruptions in our true meeting, no interruptions. All right?
Thank you, Magdi.
Thank you. I love the sound of the dog barking in the distance. The dog dogging. When I was a young boy, I would visit my grandma in Beirut, and her apartment was not too far from a mosque. And like in the night and early in the morning, the mullah would start the chant, the call to prayer for the people to come and pray. And I've never been religious really, but something about this call for prayer, it's just so touches deeply. Especially in the stillness of the night, in the depth of the night. It's a calling within us in the depth of our being, calling, a similar calling. That's calling us. I think that's what I was hearing without knowing it. I was hearing that calling, that deep calling in our being.
Magdi, I just want to tell you about that. I'm not sure if it's appropriate, but we went to to Istanbul to meet my family from Belarus just in March.
Yes.
And, my brother was there, my husband, and, my daughter. And we heard this call for prayer every morning. It was everywhere in Istanbul and, everywhere in Turkey. And of course, my brother, we grew up atheists, so my brother, we don't really know much about Islam and don't have any understanding of it, but my brother and my husband, they fell in love with it. They were like saying, oh, I want to buy a recording of it and I want to play it like for myself every morning because it's
Right.
so beautiful. So it's not just like, it's really affected people.
Yeah.
They don't know the words, they don't understand, the tradition. You kind of understand, you can read about it, but it was so powerful.
Yes.
For people just who have nothing from completely different background.
Yes.
Yeah. So I just wanted to share that.
Yeah, I remember once also being in France, I was traveling through some country roads. I decided not to just do big cities, but to go through some of villages,
Mm-hmm.
And I arrived to this outside of this small town, and there was a little place where you could stay. They have signs, for lodging, and I went and I stayed over these people's, like farmers. They were farmers. Actually, they were farmers, and they also had they had chicken farm. But the parents weren't there, so there was just the children. There was a boy. He must have been 14, 15, and his younger sister. They were, welcomed us, and they put some food for us, and they took us around the farm, showed us the chickens. They were very, very cute, very sweet. But so next day, I was driving through the village, and there was maybe they mentioned that to me. There was a small old church, or church with also where some of the brothers they have like living quarters, and somebody had recommended we go to the mass. So I said, oh, it's a quaint village, we go to the mass. And there was part of the mass was these brothers. There were maybe a dozen of them. They were doing Gregorian chants. Gregorian chants. So, just so beautiful. So beautiful. They were good. They were really, you wouldn't expect that in a small village in the middle of nowhere. But I guess they had a lot of training, and also, takes you to this place of a divine. You recognize the divine in some of these chants, because the chants are about God, about truth, yes, they're impersonal. Yeah, that really made the trip, meeting those two sweet kids and the Gregorian chants. Those small villages are like 30, 40 houses. It's not barely see them on the map.
Yes, this is a question like I had when you were talking about. I wanted to ask a question, but it's then dissolved. But it's a question about consciousness understands, like the question started with this, like, how, like they say, everything dissolves in consciousness. So there is an understanding. When the understanding happens, it's a dissolution in consciousness of a thought, a perception. And I mean, it's kind of like, I don't know, for me, it's like, it was like a little, I want to understand. I mean, consciousness is so complex and so rich that it gives birth to everything. So it understands everything. The most, like, personal thing you ever feel, or the most complex and intricate thing that exists. So it's not simple. So, but then, this word about dissolving and, like, it's make it sound like it's so simple, and so plain. I don't know. It's just kind of like, for me, it was, just this part is like, a little like a contradiction, and it's brought the thought that, yes, there is a sense of me, or like, this, like seemingly complex life and personality and everything like that, and you don't want to identify with it. It has to dissolve in consciousness, like disidentify. Consciousness has to disidentify with it. But consciousness fully understands it. I don't know. I don't even know how to formulate. It's almost like when I feel like, when I think dissolves or understanding, every thought is understood by consciousness and it dissolves in consciousness. It's kind of like, feels like consciousness is just so plain.
So what? So
it's so plain. It's like, it's almost like, I don't know. It's not. I know it's not emptiness, but it's like, it's a light. You can say it's a light, but it's the most complex thing. It gives birth to the most intricate, complex, and everything.
yes, absolutely. I mean, look at.
I just kind of like, I don't know. Somehow it was like, oh,
yeah,
everything is in it, but what is this? It's kind of like,
yes.
you just wanted to see it also as a very not empty. It's not empty.
Right.
It's not plain. It's
in your experience, every part of your experience, every aspect of your experience, no matter how complex or simple it is, appears and disappears in this moment, right? Any memory, any thought, any perception is in fact in this moment appearing in awareness and dissolving in awareness, right? I mean, that's a fact. Your last thought is no longer there, and your current thought is gone already. As you perceive it, it's gone. Yes, isn't that so?
where is it going?
Well, wherever it arises from, it goes to. Now we're in language, but still, if it goes somewhere for real, the place where it goes has to be a real place. In other words, if you park your garage really your car, really in the garage, the garage has to be real. Your car has to be real, and the garage where you're going to park your car has to be real, right? So you can say then, my car, my real car, is parked in the garage, the real garage. You're not going to park your car, your real car, in some fantasy garage in planet Xenon, right?
Yeah.
And you're not going to also park your imaginary car in your true, real garage right there, right? So both your car has to be real, and where it goes, where you put it has to be real, right? So the thought has to be real, right? And where it dissolves to, where it goes to, has to be real, correct?
Yeah.
So now we can ask ourselves, what is real? In our experience, what is real? I mean, we can imagine, okay, what's real is a unicorn on planet Xenon. That's what's real. But that would be bullshit. I mean, what's real has to be real now, right? It cannot be real yesterday and real tomorrow, but not real now. So you ask yourself, what is it that is real now? You come to awareness.
Yeah.
Awareness.
Yeah, I mean, I see, yeah, I know awareness is the most, so yeah, this is the word real. Yeah, the word real is the only thing I have a problem with. I mean, not problem, but it's more like.
How about awareness is?
Yeah.
There is awareness. There is perception, therefore there is awareness. Awareness is undeniable. You cannot deny awareness. Are you okay with that? You cannot deny awareness.
And every moment of the of life, of my experience, awareness always is. Yes.
Awareness is, yes.
Yes.
Everything you experience, awareness is. And when there is no experience, nothing, no object that you're perceiving, awareness doesn't disappear. You're still aware. You're aware when there is a thought A. You're aware when there is thought B, but you're also aware when there is no thought. Awareness doesn't disappear in the absence of thoughts. You don't disappear between the absence of thoughts.
Yeah. I mean, I have one more question. So do I have to also make a kind of like a explanation for myself with in regards to real? Because yes, I don't know anything that is more real than awareness. And also I, like the, how they say that, okay, I didn't know, I knew awareness the whole time. This body mind has been there. Like this body mind and awareness seems to always be
together.
Present, yeah. So do I have to make an inference from like, is awareness still more real than the body mind? Because anything anybody will ever know will have to be, awareness will have to be there for it.
Yes,
that's like then it independent. My body minds, and it's not like not in this consideration. Right?
From our experience, it's not possible to experience any perception, any thought, any sensation in the absence of awareness.
Yeah.
Okay, that is clear,
that's
right?
Enough? Yes, that's clear. But is it enough?
I'm sorry. Is it what?
Enough.
Okay. Well, the next.
Say that it's real.
No, there is more to it. Now that's awareness is. It's not possible for phenomena to be in the absence of awareness, right? Okay, but that's not all. When you ask yourself, am I aware? I'm aware. Are you asking your body? Are you asking your mind? Are you asking your memory? Are you asking your sensations?
No, awareness is on its own, aware on its own.
when you ask yourself, am I aware? The answer is yes, I'm aware. So awareness is basically alone, just awareness with awareness. And awareness says, yeah, I am, and I'm aware. Yes?
Yeah.
Now, then a thought arises, a thought may arise, a thought arises that says, oh, well, the reason why awareness knows itself, in other words, the reason why when I ask myself, I am aware, am I aware, excuse me. The reason why when I ask myself, am I aware? The answer is yes, I am aware, is because there is a body. Possibly a thought may arise that says, well, you know, the reason why I know I'm aware is because there is a body. Now that is an added on, that is the mind is creating a cause via thinking. So there is a thought that arises that says, yeah, you know why I know I am aware is because there is a body. But if there is no body, I'm not aware. That's a thought that arises, that wants to create a causality.
I perceive this.
But in the absence of this thought that arises, that says, here is the causality. In the absence of that thought, when you ask yourself, am I aware? The answer, yes, I'm aware. There's no thought. We're not checking with the body. We're not checking with the mind. We're not checking with the president or our neighbor. We're checking with awareness. Awareness is checking with itself. Awareness checking with itself. Now, from the perspective of the mind operates in a different mode. It says reality is physical. The mind says reality is physical. So then, from the perspective of our conditioned mind, our belief structure, when we say, am I aware? The mind comes in and says, yeah, of course I'm aware because I am a body.
Yeah, I see that it's not really, it's not viable.
It adds on, the thought adds on, it adds on the body. It squeezes in its belief. Yeah, yes. Awareness is physical. Awareness depends on the body. Awareness depends on the mind. Awareness depends on the breath. Awareness depends on the brain activity, blah, blah, blah. So, it's a little subtle. It's so quick, but so discern that little subtle, subtle. And also consider the following. Consider that experience, meaning perceptions, sensations, thoughts. They're like appear and disappear. Hello, H-E, it's goodbye. It's like like the movie is made out of a horse is running, but the horse is but when you spin it quickly, it looks like the horse is running. But there is no horse running. There is just a print, and then another one, and another one, another one, another one, another one. And between them, there isn't a horse. There's no connection.
Yeah, and the same thing happens with the body mind.
Absolutely.
The whole reality includes the body mind too. I mean, everything, the body mind is included and connected to all of it. So all of it appears and disappears. Like all of it is like in flux.
When you say the body mind, what do you mean?
I mean, like, let's say, whatever is the world, whatever it is, I don't know. It looks like, objects and the body and, like the room and everything like that. But whatever it is, maybe whatever, let's say, yeah, it looks like that. It's not it, but whatever it is okay. something there. Maybe like, quantum fields or whatever. all of this one thing, big thing, like, that connected, like, including this body mind, it's, it has something, it's something, so whatever it is, it's all one, and it's always in flux. Like you said, it's kind of like, flashing to not just what the body mind, seen through the body mind, but the body mind with it, it's all one big field. And it's it's moving, and
that's an interesting model, but I'm going to switch it a little bit, yeah? Switch it a little bit. So experientially, the body mind is different from conceptually the body mind. So there are two distinct approaches to the body mind. There is the experiential approach, and there is the conceptual approach, and there is the feeling approach. But I want to focus on the experiential approach of the body mind. So experientially, we have to put aside our concepts. Like we clean the slate, we erase. And so we say, okay, what is experientially the body mind? So we look right now, right? So right now, experientially, the body mind, I could say, well, there is a perception. It's perception of a body. A hand, look in the mirror, you see face, you see body. So experientially, first, I could say, well, the body mind is a perception, right? Perception. And this perception is right now, this moment, okay? Because I'm perceiving. Also, I could say the body mind is an image. For example, I may have an image. Let's say now I have an image of my body mind, an image, whatever. I say, well, this image is my body mind, right? So experientially, the body mind can be a perception, can also be an image, means imitation, mental form. And also the body mind is more like the body is sensation. I sense whatever. That's also experientially the body mind is sensation. Forget about conceptually, it's just forget about like trying to, we're looking at how we experience the body mind. So when we say the body mind, we're referring very specifically, experientially, to this perception, this sensation, this image of a body mind. Right? Now, when you're perceiving a sensation, your chest, your leg, whatever, you're perceiving a sensation. This sensation is appearing in awareness. Same thing when you're perceiving an image, or when you're perceiving a perception. This perception appears in awareness, right? It's always appearing in awareness. So you cannot speak of a body mind experientially. You cannot speak of a body mind excluding awareness. If you exclude awareness, it's like you're saying, I'm born, but I have no mother and father. You cannot exclude awareness. You follow? You cannot, it has to be in the same conversation. Because you cannot experience a perception, a sensation, or a thought arising without awareness, outside of awareness, right? So therefore, experientially, the body mind is perception, sensation, mentation, images, awareness. Mm-hmm. Awareness permeates, experientially permeates our experience. Yes? And awareness, experientially, we have no experience of awareness arising out of the brain, that's just a model. I mean, science says, well, everything arises out of matter, but that's a model. It's a hypothesis. But we're not talking hypothetically right now. We're speaking, it's just, with our feet on the ground, we're speaking experientially. So we have no evidence whatsoever that awareness is arising out of anything, right? But we do have experiential evidence that a thought or a perception or a sensation appears and disappears in awareness.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
This is why we say, okay, the reality of the body-mind, experientially, the reality of the body-mind is awareness.
Yeah. I think I'm creating, yeah, you're right. I think I'm creating the concept out of awareness.
Yeah, I get it. No, I mean, it's helpful also, the conceptual model, but we need in this inquiry, in the study of truth, of reality, we have to go back to experiential model. Why? Because there are so many conceptual models, that the mind is like a web. It just wants to continue, like the waves. You've got to go to the ocean. You've got to dive deep a little bit to see, okay, well, experientially, world, body, mind, they refer to one reality, awareness. I'm not, again, just want to make a note, I'm not denying, I'm not saying, there is no reality to thoughts, no reality to sensation, no reality to the world. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying, yes, they are true appearances, true experiences within the reality of awareness. That awareness is the reality. Why? Because it is not possible for any sensation, perception, or meditation experientially to arise, to be in the absence of awareness. It's like there is, as a way of speaking, it's like the absolute and the relative, but I don't want to make it too much distinctions conceptually, because the more we make distinctions conceptually, the more we believe these distinctions are like real distinctions. It's just a language distinction between the relative and the absolute. Now, there is the belief that awareness cannot exist without experientially, cannot exist without the body-mind. There is no evidence for that whatsoever. Nobody has demonstrated that, yes, without perception, sensation, and meditation, there is no awareness. But there is this belief. This is why sometimes we need to also say, okay, look, when you ask yourself, am I aware? That is a direct awareness to awareness. The answer is yes. Awareness is saying, yes, I am aware. It's awareness that is saying, yes, I am aware. So we invite you to open yourself to that. Oh, okay, so awareness doesn't need to go to the body, to the thought, to the sensation, to the perception, to know that it is aware. And we also invite you to, like Francis says, to be open to the gap. It's a model, it's just language. I know there isn't like a real gap. It's a a teaching, a sharing modality. It's a pedagogical modality, but it has its purpose. It has its function. That you cannot have thought A and thought B connected. If they're connected, then they're one thought. Their thought A and thought B is a gap between them. The thought, I love my mother, and the thought, today is Saturday. There are two different thoughts. There's a gap between them. As a model, this gap is absence of thought, but not absence of reality. Yeah.
So it's like an exercise, or it's more like an understanding?
It's a form of reasoning about truth,
Yeah, about the gap. So the gap, should it be experienced? Meaning, like, let me experience it.
No.
Like, this is my thought, this is my perception. Do I have the gap? Or it's
Right.
more like a reasoning type of.
Yes, right. Because if you try to experience the gap, then you have made the gap into an experience, into an object.
Yeah, okay.
It's just a pedagogical reason. It's a higher reasoning. It's an aspect of our capacity to use our reason towards truth.
Mm-hmm.
And when we apply our reasoning towards truth, there's an understanding, sort of, yeah. But it requires your flexibility, not to sort of get stuck in the language. Oh, there's a gap, then what is my experience of the gap? If you have an experience of the gap, then it's not a gap. It's an experience, or a sensation, perception, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a model. But it makes sense. It's logical. It's basically saying it's not possible if you have two thoughts, it's not possible for them to be joined, because then there would be one thought. So it makes sense. You say, yeah, it's true. I get it. I understand. So therefore, there must be something which we call the gap between thought A and thought B. There is no thought, but that doesn't mean there is no awareness. And you have to make this jump. You have to say, yes, I get it. There can be no thought between A and B, but this does not mean there is no awareness. There is no proof. There's no way to prove awareness, because awareness is its own proof. Yeah. You cannot prove it by awareness. Yeah, right. It's its own proof. It's like love, it's its own proof. You cannot prove love. It's not an emotion, it's not a feeling. It shines onto the body-mind, but the body-mind is not the proof of love. Love is its own proof. Yes. Well, okay, anyways, I mean,
Thank you so much, Magdi. Yes, this was like amazing.
Okay. Yeah, lovely to see you and to be with you this way. Yes. Okay, well, very lovely to be with you all. Thank you for your love and presence and friendship, Nathan and Holger, and Julia, George, Frank, Grace.
That was amazing, Maggie. I just want to say that was amazing. Thank you.
Mark, hi, John, Mina, and Jenny. Thank you all. Very, very beautiful to be with you. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.